Hello everybody, this is Ramsis.
And I'm TheVespor.
And we're here to bring you another episode of Back in Time. Episode number 19, where we take a look at something from the past that we still enjoy to this day. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and
ring that bell
as we bring you many more of these back in times in the future. Today's subject will be commercial jingles from the 1980s, part 2. Since they had so much fun singing in the 1980s, we're back to sing a lot more from the 1980s because that's the generation that never shuts up, and we're back to give you a lot more where that came from.
So you all enjoyed our 80s jingles, so continuing on with the theme of the 80s, we gotta have a part 2. Maybe a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6.
And boy, have we got a lot more for you. The 80s is the decade that brought you jingle upon jingle upon jingle in your advertisement. You name it, there was a jingle for it, and oh boy, are we going to show you all of it in its 80s goodness.
And to begin our wonderful look back at 80s jingles, we're going to begin with one of our favorite drinks from the 80s, Dr. Pepper with David Naughton, starring Jimmy Walker and Fred Flintstone.
Hey, Gus, you special enough to skate with us? I'm an all-star skater. There's nobody greater. I score every game, but being a Pepper's my fame. All right! We're Peppers, too! I'm a Pepper, he's a Pepper, we're a Pepper, she's a Pepper. Would you like to be a Pepper, too? Us Peppers are an interesting breed. An original taste is what we need. Ask any Pepper and they'll say, only Dr. Pepper did that way. I'm a Pepper, she's a Pepper, we're a Pepper, he's a Pepper.
It's all right to be dynamite, but to be a Pepper is out of sight.
Would you like to be a Pepper too? We're a Pepper, he's a Pepper. Pepper too, I'm a Pepper too. If you drink Dr. Pepper, you're a Pepper too. Be a Pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Be a Pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Be a Pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. Be a Pepper.
Dynamite! Wasn't that something fun, Vesper? Everyone still knew who Jimmy Walker was. Well, actually, they didn't know because they had to actually put his name under him there. So
well, I think I'll have to agree with you on that one. After all, I mean, Good Times had only been off the air for a couple of years, and it was a smash hit, and Jimmy Walker was one of the biggest ever breakout stars for his day and age. And who could also forget Fred Flintstone? He will never die, he will outlive us all, because after all, he's a caveman, and this is the 1980s.
That's right, yes. I'm not going to ask how Fred Flintstone got into 1980 in the first place. He seems very comfortable there. Everyone seems to know who Fred Flintstone is, and no one knows who Jimmy Walker is, but everyone's very comfortable with the caveman on roller skates drinking Dr. Pepper.
This is the power of Dr. Pepper. It can pull people through time, drink, and taste its excellence.
Well, besides the fun cameos, let's talk about the commercial itself, because David Naughton, that's the Dr. Pepper spokesperson, as you guys should know, and he's not really the star of this commercial. He's sort of like a add-on later. It starts with a weird field hockey roller skating group of kids that are just hanging out, and they're like, yeah, we love Dr. Pepper, and then he just shows up on roller skates wearing his Han Solo vest.
Wait, I have a problem with this commercial right now. I think it's made up. I think this is a set in Hollywood because we've been all over this country, and you haven't seen any sidewalks this clean, have you?
Well, I haven't really been paying attention, truth be told. That doesn't mean there isn't. The song is great, and that's the great thing about the Dr. Pepper campaign. This song continued on through every version of the Dr. Pepper campaign with David Naughton in it, and this is so great, and the song all comes together. It is so much fun. I love this jingle. What do you think of this jingle being used in this way?
It's a catchy jingle, good-looking people, having fun, drinking Dr. Pepper, and that you may not be dynamite, but if you drink a pepper, you're out of sight.
So that's a great way to start our 80s extravaganza. For our next commercial jingle look back in the 80s, we have a classic amongst classics. Now, Vesper, hopefully you of all hosts here realize how famous and iconic and how important this song is to this toy brand that I'm about to show you.
Oh, absolutely. After all, who hasn't heard of the Slinky song?
A spring, a marvelous thing. Everybody knows it's Slinky.
Ramses, did you forget the rules?
It's Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy. What walks downstairs, a loner in pairs, and makes a slinkity sound. A spring, a marvelous thing, everyone knows it's Slinky. It's Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy. It's fun for a girl and a boy. It's fun for a girl and a boy.
Get a Slinky in a size and color you like, in metal or plastic.
So there you go. It's fun for girl and boy. Plastic, metal. Kids are happy. They're bouncing around their hands. Look at how simple and fun you could have in the 80s.
That's actually a non-tension spring that was originally designed for use in World War II. Oh wait, this isn't about learning, this is about having fun. So yes, you too need a non-tension spring to have fun with. Look at this, you can roll it downstairs alone or in pairs, and it makes a slinkety sound.
A spring, a marvelous thing. Everybody knows it's Slinky. So there you go. So everyone already knows just by the look of it. You don't even have to describe it. But the song is the iconic part. They've been using this song for about 20 years now. They had it in the 70s, the 80s, even in the 90s they used these commercials. So this is an iconic song that transcends time also.
Hey, you know what's so great about the metal Slinkies? You can strangle your siblings with them and friends.
Oh, Vesper, who would really do that? Vesper, what do you put that down? Why are you looking at me like that?
A spring, a wonderful thing.
Vesper, we said we weren't going to do it. Remember our last 80s commercial? You got a little out of hand here. I said this time you're not doing it.
Hey, who was singing at the beginning of this?
We have no tape on that. We have no way to prove it. A spring, a marvelous thing. Everybody knows it's Slinky. You think that was me? That wasn't me. Vesper,
So, while Ramses is trying to untangle his Slinky, let's talk about this commercial. You see how these kids are absolutely enjoying this spring? You know what? Give them 5 minutes, they're going to forget about it. They're going to tie it into knots and other horrible things, and they're going to break. And what's worse, they're going to find out that nice plastic Slinky don't work worth crap.
That's true, Vesper, and you know, you can even see in this commercial, and I hate to be like this because I'm sure these kids were very, very excited to be in this ad. It's a great honor, you're in a commercial, it's cool. Half of these kids don't know the words to the simple song that is Slinky. I mean, who doesn't know the words to it? I just showed you I know the words to it. Barely working like Vesper said. One kid's looking the direction to the side. It's only this red-headed kid in the middle that gets all the attention. He's excited. He's the star.
Obviously, it's because they're like, hey kids, you want a free Slinky? They're like, what's a Slinky?
Anyway, that was Slinky. Let us know what you think. It's such an iconic song. Let's move on to number 3, which is, oh, this is really great. Vesper knows how much I love McDonald's songs, and McDonald's has some of the best jingles of all time. I think this is as 80s and as iconic you can get of a McDonald's commercial.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're going to love this as he's playing Hopscotch down the street.
Yes, folks, Hopscotch, right.
All right, hit it, Ramses.
Hey, you say you're getting tired of lettuce and tomato hamburgers in this town that don't quite make it? Yeah! You say that just once you'd like your hamburger hot and your lettuce and tomato cool and crisp all at the same time? Yeah! Well, I say you got it. I'm talking McDonald's new lettuce and tomato hamburger, the McDLT. I'm talking quarter pound of beef on the hot side. And the hot stays hot. The new McDLT. Hot. Crisp lettuce and tomato on the cool side. And the cool stays cool. The new McDLT. Cool crisp. The beef stays hot. The cool stays crisp. Put it together, you can't resist. The hottest taste. The coolest dish. Keep it hot, hot. Keep it cool, cool. McDLT. McDLT. Hot, beefy McD. Cool, crisp LT. McDLT. It's a good time. Hot, beefy McD. For the great taste. Cool, crisp LT. Of McDonald's. Could be the best tasting lettuce and tomato hamburger ever. New McDLT.
Wait a second, this wasn't the Hopscotch McDonald's commercial.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, I must have clicked the wrong button. Well, I guess we'll just have to go with this one instead. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. All right, you get the joke, Mister? Well, maybe he can't take a joke, folks. But this is, in my opinion, your co-host here on Vesper's Retro Reviews, the best 80s McDonald's jingle and ad ever. So there you go.
In all honesty, it's kind of weird to see the guy from Seinfeld doing this before he was in Seinfeld.
It's Jason Alexander, who is one of the most iconic actors, all because of his 9 years on Seinfeld, and he's here dancing and singing and bouncing about a hamburger from McDonald's. It's like you never would have expected to see this actor in this situation, and that's part of the charm of this commercial.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at this, and it's like he's got, like, the magic stuff.
Now let's talk about the McDLT, because a lot of you guys might not understand what is a McDLT. It was a takeoff on the BLT, if everyone remembers, bacon, lettuce, tomato. That was a very famous sandwich, still is. The McDonald's wanted to do their own version. Instead of bacon, it's the hamburger with the lettuce and tomato. But the problem with their burgers is people complained that the vegetables got soggy because they were putting it together in the wrap and everything was tasting nasty. So their solution was, let's make a tray where you could put the hamburger and the bottom bun on one side and then all the vegetables and toppings ingredients on the other side, and then you can mix it together when you want to match it together. That was the idea. You were supposed to keep the hot without ruining the vegetables, and the vegetables were supposed to stay cool so that they could be nice and crisp when you eat the sandwich. And they came in these ridiculous, gigantic styrofoam trays that everybody hated because in the 80s we were very environmentally safe, and we hated that McDonald's was using gigantic styrofoam trays just to keep a hamburger hot and not put the vegetables on top of it.
Speaking of that, I think they also screwed up on that as well, because who wants a cold piece of cheese on their burger? Because that will actually make your burger ice cold.
Shouldn't you have the cheese already on the burger melting by the time you put the sandwich together? That would have made perfect sense.
Obviously, the McDLT didn't last long because I guess they stepped on the spokesperson by accident.
Now you gotta admit, the song is so catchy, and you have a whole chorus production about it. This is as 80s of a jingle as you can get, and I think people will remember the jingle more than the hamburger itself. I'm sure even you have heard it just randomly. You've heard this song somewhere.
Oh, I didn't. I promptly forgot about it. But the one I didn't forget was Mac at Night. But that's another commercial.
That's another commercial for another day. But yes, that was the new McDLT. All right, let's move on to the next one. As the 80s...
Hold on a sec. Give me the list. I'm going to make sure we do the right one this time. And now let's head to everybody's favorite game system from the 80s, the Nintendo, but in cereal form.
I hope you guys remember this. What's the next step if you're doing well as a video game system? Why, cereal, of course. Let's see what Nintendo did for cereal.
Nintendo. It's for breakfast now. Nintendo. It's the cereal. Wow. Nintendo. Super Mario Jump. Nintendo. In a fruit flavored crunch. Nintendo. Here's Zelda too. Nintendo. It's very good news. Nintendo. You just can't move. Nintendo cereal system is a super part of this nutritious breakfast. Nintendo. 2 cereals in one. Wow.
Wow, indeed. Nintendo was as big as you can imagine this time, and they were pushing their product on everything. And who would have thought cereal would be the next thing? They came up with 2 different cereals for once.
Yeah, this cereal system definitely pulled on the heartstrings of all of us kids in the 80s who loved their Nintendo. I had it, and I thought the cereal was mediocre because they didn't have marshmallows.
Yeah, just a generic who cares cereal. I never had it, but I saw it in the store. And I was a huge Nintendo fan, but even I looked at this cereal and I was like, wow, yeah, so berry or fruity flavor, isn't that really the same thing? I mean, let's look at these pieces here. Does this really look like where they're claiming these things are supposed to be here?
Well, I can see the Koopa, the Goomba, Mario, and the Mushroom, but I did not realize that King Koopa was a dinosaur. And then for The Legend of Zelda, you see the boomerang, the shield, the heart, and the key. And then we have Ganon.
Well, that looks like a teddy bear sort of to me. Key in the heart I can go with, but everything else sort of looks a little weird to me.
Well, it's just showing a shield.
Right. So I think the problem with the cereal is it's generic pieces that they're claiming that represent this. If the commercial didn't spell it out, I wouldn't know what some of these pieces are.
All these flavors mean nothing because you know what the real flavor of all this was?
The real flavor? Berry and,
nope.
And fruit? What?
It's pure sugar.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Well, I'll be darned. Yes, even Link was shocked at that one. No wonder the cereal did well. Yes, it had nothing to do with the fun jingle. It had nothing to do with the kids getting all excited. Nothing to do with everyone wearing a TV on their head. It's the sugar.
Well, I mean, after all, you saw the most nutritious part of the breakfast was the toast with butter on it.
I think the song is catchy, but I don't get what's going on in the song. Why are they wearing TVs on their head?
Because obviously they jumped into the TVs themselves and are experiencing the life of what it is to be Mario and Link.
What? Well, anyway, that was a fun song, Vester. You gotta admit that's a catchy jingle, too.
Oh, it's a very good little catchy song. Nintendo. As I'm watching this, I'm wanting to actually play my Nintendo and not eat this cereal. Probably need to move on. Otherwise, you'll go into your tirade about how Luigi's underused, underappreciated.
Let's move on to the next commercial. Speaking of video games, I'm going to show you a real video game commercial. How about that? Something that's not cereal. It's actually for a very famous, iconic video game system that was released in the 80s. And I know Vester's gonna love this. He's gonna be like, wow, Ramsis, you've really done it this time. You have really impressed me. So that's how confident I am that he's gonna enjoy this over his Nintendo cereal.
Oh, so it's in television.
Here it is, 1987.
The fun is back. Oh, yes, siree. It's the 2600 from Atari. It's the video system with classics galore, from Space Invaders to cars that roar. A real hip joystick controls the screen. Solaris is hot and Midnight Magic's mean. And one more thing, it's got a special low price, under 50 bucks. 50 bucks? Now, isn't that nice? The fun is back. Oh, yes, siree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
All right. That wasn't the Intellivision or the ColecoVision. It's the Atari, which should be forgotten about by now. Why? Why is this being sold in 1987? And why is it the 2600 and not the 7800?
Vesper, this is very iconic. I told you, I know what I'm doing here. Ramsis here. I know what I'm doing. The 2600, the most famous Atari product of all time. It's a nice slim look to it. They're all modernized for the 80s. There's hundreds of games on the system. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want an Atari 2600 in 1987?
I think the commercial shows you why you don't want an Atari 2600. Look at Mario. And then that.
Oh, Vesper. Mario, yeah, who cares about Mario? We already saw Mario in the last commercial. This has Pac-Man, this has Pinball, this has Pole Position, Space Invaders. I mean, come on, Space Invaders.
That's not The Legend of Zelda. That's not Super Mario Brothers.
Well, let's be honest. This was the system that parents bought kids in the 80s when they didn't want to pay the $100+ for Nintendo. And they're like, oh, look, Atari 2600, only $50. I'll get my little Jimmy that instead, and he'll be just as happy. What a great deal.
Oh, yeah, especially when they go to school and they're like, hey, guys, guess what? I have a game system like your all's. Yay! Mine has a joystick. Oh, that's so cool.
Boy, yay.
But it only has one button.
The song is catchy, by the way, and I love the reactions of this generic family in this commercial. They're so excited to have an Atari 2600, and...
No, get it right. Dad is looking so excited. He's looking at $50, and the games are only like 10? Oh, Jimmy, you're getting an Atari.
You gotta use your imagination a lot when you play Atari 2600 games. And little Jimmy looks like he's having a lot of fun in this commercial. He's singing along, they're cheering, they're all amazed by Dig Dug. So yes, the fun is back. Oh yes, sir, it's the 2600 from Atari. It's a video system with classics galore, from Space Invaders to Cars That Roar. Oh boy, you're not even impressed that I know all the lyrics to this song? I guess not, folks. And no, I did not buy the new Atari. I like everyone else in the world, bought an NES, and I still have my NES.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would probably own this before I would eat the Nintendo cereal system again.
So let's move on to the next one before I start singing again and I get in a lot of trouble and he puts me into an Atari game.
And now, let's go to another wonderful staple of the 80s that no longer exists to this day. And if you're thinking Radio Shack, close. No, we're talking Circuit City.
Oh, Circuit City! Oh, yes, I remember Circuit City. Oh boy, I can't wait to see what did they think was state-of-the-art technology in 1989. Here we go.
Push it, click it, press it, flick it, tune it in, turn it on. This is what you watch it on. Any way you work it, integrate your circuit at the city. Circuit City.
Come to the place you're welcome. Technology with a heart. Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
The future at your fingertips. Get all the right connections. Punch a key and you can see the new video directions. We can turn your car into an audio star with the one you want or the way you want.
At Circuit City, trained sales counselors are one of the reasons we get higher customer satisfaction ratings than any other specialty home electronics and appliance chain.
A gadget and a gizmo for electric machismo. Some amplitude for the radical dude. We're tuned into your attitude.
Come to the place you're welcome. Technology with a heart. Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art. Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
These are some of the most vintage, classical, important technology advances that you can imagine. 1989 state-of-the-art.
Like refrigerators,
boomboxes, microwave,
TV,
stereo systems, camcorder.
And also being able to bring them in to get repaired, folks.
Oh yes, repairing all these products. And VCRs, look at how he's juggling the tapes around. Isn't that great? Remember when you used to throw VCR tapes in the air? They even have a CD player with multiple choices. You can switch the CD around by pushing a button. Isn't that cool?
Oh, and do you remember how all those cars you won on The Price is Right didn't have radios in them?
Yes, unloaded cars, that's right. You can go to Circuit City.
Yep, that's right. And the best part about this commercial, and why I love it the most, they're like, hey, we're an electronics store, let's use that synthesizer for all it's worth.
Oh yes, it's booming, it's great, it sounds perfect. It's hard to believe there's actually a commercial because the song is just so much fun. It's a great beat, it's a great sound. Circuit City was fun. It really was the alternative to everything else. They had everything you could think of as far as entertainment went, but the problem is why they're out of business is you don't really need a store like this. Entertainment has evolved so much that you don't really need to go to a place to get all these things like you did back then. iPhone and a TV, that's the only technology people really buy these days.
But the best part about it is when I see that guy putting the VCR in there, you know for a fact that one thing he didn't do. He didn't set his clock on the stupid thing.
Oh yes, great pick, Vesper. Sadly, Circuit City's no longer with us, but the memories and the songs and the technology will never really leave us. We're going to move on to the next commercial. and talk about another company that is no longer with us. Trans World Airlines, TWA, very famous, and we're going into the 80s where TWA was actually still around, folks. 1985, TWA.
Wait a second, flying in 1985? Uh-oh.
TWA presents the difference between getting you where you're going and leading the way. Taking that extra step to make flying the best it can be. That's what makes TWA one tough act to follow.
Oh, that was fun. TWA. Boy, Vester, it brings us such good memories. I used to fly in TWA all the time.
You know, I have a feeling I probably would have flown TWA too if they had such smiling, upbeat, happy people. Look how professional they are. I mean, you don't see this on any other airline.
No, they're all very happy, smiling, grinning. Here's your ticket, welcome aboard. Oh boy, I'm fixing your plane, this is great. Forget the flight controller strike, it's the planes themselves that are the heart and soul of airports. TWA, the nicest people imaginable. I would fly in TWA anytime.
Well, of course, look at that. Look at those seats. You can truly recline almost completely 100% back. They have a footrest. They have the ergonomic earphones.
Oh, I used to love those. Yeah, those gigantic thick plastic ear. Oh, those are great.
And look how big the overhead storage is. It's not like today where it's like 6 inches.
That's right. I don't even understand why they went out of business. TWA seems like such a great company. Oh, look, there's a tail fin. TWA.
Wait a second, Ramses. Wait a second. It's coming back. This is 1985. All the hijackings, crashes. I know why they're just showing the stupid tail fin. It's probably caused the rest of the planes on fire.
Oh, Vester, did you have to bring that up? All right, so maybe TWA had a few accidents, a few hijackings, a few crashes. It could happen to anyone. Look how happy they are. They know their faults, but they're like, oh boy, don't worry. We'll make sure you're
Well, we forgot one major thing. These are obviously actors. They're probably like, thank God we're not flying TWA.
Oh, Vester, must you ruin everything?
I flew Delta. This is a lie, folks. And here, I'll prove to you that it's a lie. This is actually the second take of their commercial.
The second take? I didn't know that.
Let me show you their first take.
Vester, where'd you get this footage from? That's amazing.
Well, after they went out of business, everything was for sale.
I should have known. Well, anyway, TWA, thanks for the memories, but yes, I guess Vester just showed why you're no longer with us. Eastern, TWA, US Air, all faint memories now, but thank you for the good times and getting us from point A to point B, sometimes in one piece, or to another country at least. We wound up somewhere on these airplanes.
That's right, you don't know where you're going to end up. It's just like playing Russian roulette. You're getting on, you don't know where you're getting off, or if you're going to get off.
But you did get to go to some of the most exotic places in the world. TWA, flying to more places than you expected. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next one with that happy note. And this time we got basketball players, because I know Vesper loves basketball from the 80s and 90s. And who doesn't? We played NBA Jam.
Bugs Bunny, don't forget that.
Yep, Bugs Bunny, Scottie Pippen. We've talked about how important basketball was to our growing up. Well, there's another very iconic star that I think Vesper's going to really appreciate, shows up in this commercial. From 1987, Nestle Crunch with Larry Bird. Here we go.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Milk chocolate, that's creamy, blending, crispy, smooth, so dreamy. Gotta have it, it's so scrumptious. Love that chocolate when it crunches. Crunches. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Ah, yes. My fave, everybody's fave, Larry Bird, the founder of the Larry Bird Lazy Dog.
So this is a classic jingle. Nestle is great because every single one of the commercials had jingles. And this is iconic because you're mixing Nestle Crunch, which was my favorite Nestle growing up. I loved Nestle's Crunch. So perfectly melted together. The milk chocolate was sweet. It was nice. It crunched like that. But the song is so memorable. Everyone knows the Nestle's is scrumptious, and that's why I love Nestle Crunch. Such a famous, iconic commercial. But then you're throwing Larry Bird into it, and now you've just gone through the roof. Larry Bird is being shown shown to be a good sport here, but as everyone knows, Larry Bird was one of the most competitive and serious players. He took this game very seriously, so I don't know if he would have taken so lightly to this custodian bullying him with a crunching sound like this.
Oh, right here at the end. You see that? No. Raise that forearm up about 1.5 feet so it's hitting him in the side of the head.
I like the idea of the commercial that Larry's just practicing and this bully is just like, I'm gonna crunch really loudly so that Larry can't hit any of his shots. And the custodian's like, oh, don't worry, I got one for you too. Now let me show you my moves. And Larry's like, no, you don't. I'll show you how to crunch on somebody. And crunch.
Punch.
Well, yeah, that's true. He probably would have knocked him out for that one. So yeah, do you like the Nestle's Crunch jingle? I think it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's fine. Although, it's definitely no Farfel.
So I think this is great. I'm glad we found it. We're definitely going to do more Nestle stuff because I love their jingles. Every single one of their jingles is so memorable. It's so much fun. They must have hired a great company that came up with their songs because they're just so earwormy. You know what I mean? They get stuck in your head when you hear these songs, and they do.
Well, that's also why they use jingles in these commercials, because a song does get stuck in there. You remember it, and you can't get it out of your head.
Larry Bird, Nestle Crunch. I think that's all
I believe you said it best.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. So that's going to wrap it up.
No, wait a second. As much as I love to end on Larry Bird, we have a tradition on this show where we take turns choosing a nice little secret commercial for our other host.
Oh, no, that's right. Every time you throw one of these commercials, something happens to me. I don't know if I want to...
Oh, no, this is simple. This is fun. And matter of fact, we even touched on this earlier. I think you'll absolutely enjoy this commercial. This is as retro as you can get. And it might actually be even a little confusing as something.
Alright, here's our surprise commercial.
Something's coming up the plumbing for Luigi's in a bind. Giant turtles out to get him, creepy crabs are right behind. Fighter flies, jeepers, yikes, they're all coming out the pipes.
Mario, where are you? It's Atari Mario Brothers with Mario from Donkey Kong, his brother Luigi, and lots of crazy creatures. And it's twice the fun when two play at once, because you need all the help you can get. Mario, where are you? Mario Brothers, new from Atari.
That's right. Oh, come on. This is our mystery commercial of all the corny, all the silly... Yeah, Mario, I get it, because of the cereal. Oh, brother. You don't have to put up with around here.
Did you know that a certain someone really likes this commercial?
Oh, wow. A certain someone likes this. Ooh. Do you know that I am the co-star of Esther's Retro Reviews?
Well, I think that his opinion takes precedent over yours because, well, he's bigger than you.
You don't mean, Oh, yes, of course. Our important sponsor. Yes, sir. Oh, it's one of your favorites. Oh, yes. Look how unrealistic this is. Luigi's wearing red. What a great fashion statement for him. He should do that more often. Oh, Turtle's head poking. Oh, the crab claw. Yes, that happens all the time to them. Oh, look at these great graphics. It's only on the 5200, but you know, hey, we'll make it like it's on every system that looks like this. Yeah, this is wonderful. What a great ad. Luigi crying for Mario as he's getting choked to death. Oh, this is great. That's right. I've had enough of this. I'm reaching my limit here.
I see nothing wrong with this because this accurately represents what the original Mario Brothers were about. Running through sewers, destroying monsters, and keeping the people in the above world safe from all the things that people flush down the toilet.
Crabs and turtle heads, yes. All the things that you see in the sewers. Yeah, oh yeah, very accurate, Vesper, very accurate. Every time I open up one of those sewer grates, a giant fly as big as my head flies out and buzzes by me. Every single time. Yes, that happens all the time. And then I have to scream for Mario because Luigi's pathetic in this commercial, so, you know, we need Mario to save him, of course.
Hey, look, he's trying to imitate his brother. That's why he's wearing the red shirt.
But the green overalls, don't forget, he is wearing green. And you notice how he's throwing the white flag at the end of this commercial, but Mario never showed up to save him.
Well, that's brotherly love. It's teaching him that he needs to be able to fend for himself and grow up well. After all, they're just giant crabs, giant turtles, giant flies, and all you guys are plungers, so you have to learn to take care of yourself. After all, this type of tough love does allow for you to become stronger. Isn't that right, Pepsi Monster?
Alright, well that's it. Pepsi Monster, I've had enough of this. You wanted this commercial? Good. You can finish the show with Vesper. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna get a nice cold Coca-Cola and I'm gonna...
Thank you all for watching our show. Once again, our co-host Ramses has once again managed to annoy the sponsor. We hope you enjoyed the show. We picked some great commercials with some wonderful songs and jingles that we hope will bring back some wonderful memories, just like it did for the Pepsi Monster. And also for Ramses, who will have much fonder memories of life before he angered our sponsor.
Vesper!
Just drink the Pepsi, you'll be fine. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and what is that, Ramses?
Ring that bell!
Oh, and drink a Pepsi.